I believe that any leader has to have a higher power that he or she looks to in order to guide their thinking, whether it's a professional or a personal decision. And in my case, at the age of 15, I remember my mom used to take me to church and everything when I was young, but I remember at the age of 15 saying that this is a decision that I want to make. And so, yeah, since the age of 15, when I was baptized and accepted, the Lord and Savior as the head of my life, I then recognized that every decision had to be based on the faith in which I carried. And so you could not have gone through what I've gone through in many cases over the last 2 years without being grounded in faith. And so when you are driven by faith, you know that things are all working together for your good. And so there's no need to stress or worry. And this particularly is in the case of leaders because leaders like to stress and worry about things in some cases they have no control over. And in my particular case, that faith that I have, it absolutely drives me, not just from the personal lens, but also from the professional lens. But the faith that I have that a higher power is driving something and that there's no sense of stressing or worrying or being distracted because things have already worked out and victory has already been handled. That's what drives me. So faith is truly one of the biggest things I think any leader has to be grounded on, and I know I am. I can't say I have any particular advice for Dr. Williams. I congratulate him and wish him the best of luck working with one of the best school systems in the country. Um, but I think I would say to any superintendent going into any role, and I know at least 8 who have been promoted and going into to that position, is that you got to recognize that as leaders, I've always said this, it's about people. But more importantly, in order to do solid work, it's about relationships and it's about managing up. And education has become so politicized, as we know, that in many cases it's easy to get distracted by whom we think is acting or appears to be acting in the best interest of kids, and really, really, truly is not. And so, as we continue having this conversation around equity and what it really means to school systems, and they begin to define it and operationalize it, superintendents are going to find themselves in a pretty unique challenge. That unless they know their communities, they have those relationships, but they've also managed up to their boards, they're not going to be able to accomplish a true equity agenda. And I think we've seen this in at least 3 places across the country over the last year. But managing up is probably the best advice that I give to any superintendent, in addition to making sure that you always take care of your people, because those relationships are what's going to sustain you when the going really gets tough. And trust me, the going's going to get tough pretty quickly.